Hey guys, it's Mike from Any Development, and just want to answer a question about making like a counter off of a timer. It's going to be a real simple app. Uh, what we're going to do is just make a clock with a start, stop, and reset button. So first thing we need to do is start up a new project. I'll do Windows Form Application. Let's call mine my clock. You can call it whatever you want. Alright, so let's drag this out a little bit. And first thing we're going to need to do is let's pull out a couple labels here. And just so we can see what our clock will look like, set that to 00, 0. And come here and let's see. We'll make it bold. You can just double click it to change it to true, or you can actually use the drop down here and select true. See if you just double click it, it'll change. You make it bigger than this, so let's go with, try 40. That looks pretty good. Alright. So just copy this and paste it 2 times. And now we need to paste it one more time. Come down to the text. Change that. Copy that and paste it. Like so. And let's kind of position this here. There we go. So now we'll have something for hours, minutes, and seconds. So let's go ahead and click on the hours and come down here to the name. Name on LBL underscore hours. Go to the next one. Do LBL underscore minutes. And go to the last one. LBL underscore seconds. Alright, so now we got this set up. We need 3 buttons. That button a little bit bigger. Alright. Don't worry about naming it yet. We gotta set the font and everything that we're gonna use. Then we'll copy paste like we did before. I'll make this bold. Try 24. Looks pretty good. Slide it out here. Position the button. Copy paste. And paste. It's good enough. Alright, so click on the first button here. Scroll down to the text. Let's call this one start. Down to its name, btn underscore start. And now we will go to this one. The name of this one will be btn underscore stop. And scroll back up to the text. I'll just put stop on here. And our final button will be reset. And scroll down to the name, btn underscore reset. Alright, so now we have our form set up. This is going to be our clock. It's going to count up as it goes. Minutes, or seconds, minutes, and hours. And these buttons here are going to control the timer. So now all we need to do is drag a timer out onto the board here. Put the timer out. And with the timer selected down at the bottom here, go over to the right and we'll make it start off to be disabled, so leave us at false. We want it to tick every second, so make this to 1,000. So an interval of 1,000 will actually be a minute, or a second, I mean. Okay, and then let's give it something besides timer1, t underscore clock. Alright, so now let's open up the, we will actually double click on this to get the onload event to be attached. Form 1 load. Okay, now let's just go ahead. First thing we'll need to do inside here is, since before we do any of this, let's go ahead and just double click on our buttons as well. Start, stop, and reset. Alright, now we got the click set up for all the buttons, and we got the onload event attached to our form. So let's go ahead and, well, I'm going to put regions there. Okay. Alright, so first thing we need is we'll need a couple integers. We'll need one for hours, set that equal to 0. I'll need minutes equals 0, and seconds equals 0. Okay, so these are the three variables that we'll be using. Now when it loads up, let's go ahead and set our label text. So LBL underscore hours dot text equals hours dot toString. And since we're doing 0, 0, we need to go ahead and put that in there. So now if hours is set to just 1, it would be 0, 1. Or if it's set to 0 like at the start, it would be 0, 0. So if it's only one digit, it'll go ahead and fill the other digit in for us. And if you want, also we can go ahead and well, we've already initialized them up there, so we don't have to do that here. Alright, so label underscore minutes text equals minutes.toString 0, 0. And same thing for seconds. Alright, so now we've got the label text set for when it loads. So when we want the when we have the user click on the start button, all we're going to want to do there is we're going to want to enable the timer if it's not enabled. So let's just do if the timer is not enabled, then we want to enable it. Okay, so this just basically says if the clock is not enabled, to enable it. I'm sorry, I gotta put dot enabled there. So if the clock is not enabled, go ahead and enable it. So if we click stop, it should be the opposite of that. Okay. Now the thing is here, the only other thing we need to do is set up the reset real quick, and then we'll get into the actual timer. So if they click the reset button, I'll set the hours to 0, minutes to 0, seconds to 0. And instead of typing this over again, let's just copy paste right here. Okay, so we set all of our integers back to 0, and then we also set the labels back to 0 whenever they hit reset. Okay, so now all we need to do is set up the timer, and it's going to be real simple. So just come right here, double click on your timer. So first thing we want to do is we want to increase our seconds by 1. Now after we increase our seconds by 1, we need to see if the seconds are greater than or equal to 60. Now I don't do equal to 60 just in case there's some kind of hiccup, lag spike, something like that, and somehow the timer gets off. If you do that, if you only put it equal to 60, then it would be say somehow it skips up to 61, then it'll never go into this. So just do greater than or equal to 60. And what we want to do if it's greater than or equal to 60 is we want to increase the minutes by 1, and then we want to take the seconds and subtract them by 60. So now that we've increased the minutes, we need to check to see if we need to add an hour to it. So if the minutes is greater than or equal to 60, and then we want to take the hours and increment them by 1, and then we want to minus 60 minutes from the clock. Now that right there will do what we need to do for the integers, but now we need to go ahead and update the labels. So let's do label.seconds.text equals, well, again, you can just take and copy this and paste it instead of doing it all over again. Alright, so now what we should have a working clock that will count up, so let's run it. Okay, so here's our form. We'll click start, and we'll let it run up here through a minute. See what happens. I'm just going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'll I'll unpause it as soon as it gets up to about a minute. Okay, so we're back now. It's getting ready to hit a minute, and hopefully the transition's smooth, and it's pretty smooth there. So then that would actually carry over once this hits 59. When it clicks over to 60, it would actually make this into zeros and put a 1 hour over there, just like a regular clock. So I hope this is what she's looking for in the answer. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and post them up on the forums on the website. Thanks.